Joy's evening. So I'm working on Project Non-Suffering, and I have the white paper. I'll include for Project Non-Suffering. I will include the link in the video description. I'll put the link if you want to join on the screen. No, it's going to block. No, that's fine. It's showing enough. Okay, so this is what I worked on. So I wanted to figure out an easier way of explaining. And so I've created the existence logic tree of the human condition. I have to invert it, but I will do that later. So this is what we're going to do. So this is the dirt, earth, the only grounding that exists or matters. Should I make it larger? There. Existence logic, the substrate. Existence logic is a fertile soil. There is no existence without existence logic. General relativity, t at the coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z. The law of identity, A is equal to A. To exist is to occupy a unique space-time coordinate of t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z. The exclusion principle, no two distinct masses can occupy the same coordinate, t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z, simultaneously. The constant, t is equal to 0, the initial reference frame. Every now moment is a new initial reference frame where t equals 0. The past, quote unquote, where t is not equal to 0, no longer possesses mass. Its coordinate, t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z, has been closed, quote unquote, by the weak nuclear force. It does not exist. The law of non-contradiction. A is not equal to not A. A thing cannot be at its coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z, and not at its coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z at the same time, t. The law of excluded middle. A cannot be both A and not A. A thing either exists at its coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z, or does not exist at that, or does not exist at coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z. Reference frame definition. The coordinate t, comma, x, comma, y, comma, z at t equals 0, the initial reference frame, is a standard measure of change. An initial reference frame t equals 0, which is a law of identity, A is equal to A, cannot be not t equals 0, and must be t or not t equals 0. Must be t equals 0 or not t equals 0. That's missing something. Cannot be t, an initial reference frame, t equals 0, A equals A, cannot be not A equals cannot be t equals 0 and not t. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put not. And not t equals 0. And must be t equals 0 or not t equals 0. Biometric replication. Language is the biometric representation. Language is the biometric representation of existence logic. Without consistent definitions, logic is unanchored. Consensus labels. Words, symbols, and images are arbitrary consensus labels that only represent existence logic because of existence logic. Dictionaries. The gathered consensus of the meaning of words. Logistic modalities. All logic, classical, modal, intuitionistic, and fuzzy must branch from this soil to remain valid. In other words, fuzzy logic doesn't work if words do not consistently mean the same thing. From the existence, the dirt, earth, the only grounding that exists or matters, I should do a conclusion of that. Roots, 4 fundamental forces, fields, gravity, atomic level, Gravity has no memory. The only constant cleansing signal at t equals 0. G is equal to 9.81 meters per second squared, is the cause of life. An actual, real, objective, omnipresent force that everything has a personal relative relationship with, special and general relativity. Fulfills the definition of objective and omnipresent 100%. The only force that is unidirectional and constant down to the atomic level, unlike electromagnetism, which can be shielded or polarized. Then we go up to the trunk. Matter. Not life. Minerals. Life. Discrimination engine. Organic materials. Awareness of self and thus not self. Not aware of self. And thus not self. Proteins, amino acids, nucleic acids, DNA, and how do you pronounce it? Deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, ribonucleic acid. Structural matter, lipids, fatty acids, glycerolipids, phospholipids, sphingolipids, sterols, prenols, saccharolipids, polyketides, carbohydrates, glucose, fructose, and sucrose. Hey, viewer, you want to stop in? We're doing the meaning of life. And I'm going through the... Okay, I didn't think so. Thanks for stopping by. Then there's the sap of the tree, biology. Ionic flux, which I'm going to put in brackets. Electricity. Chemicals, sodium, potassium, water, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, iron, myelin, and metabolic waste. Then we go to the next branch, the body, the branches of the tree, the body, the iceberg. Ecosystem. I should do this. Iceberg in the Timothy D. Wilson. Timothy D. Wilson. Iceberg. Example. Analogy. The organs, liver, heart, lungs, kidneys, thyroid, intestines, brain. Under brain, you have sentience, awareness of awareness, self-awareness and other self-awareness and awareness of others. No, that's got to be worded differently. Sentience, A, existence logic squared. Awareness of awareness. Awareness of self. And others, apostrophe S. Awareness of self. Self-powered computational processing power. NIPRA. We're adding that in. We're taking those brackets out. NIPRA. 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 Now, information pattern recognition processing. We're taking out the processing. Now, information pattern recognition assessment. NIPRA. Due to sentience, due to computational power, due to self-powered computational power. In other words, ATP and ATP because of the mitochondria. Consciousness, 2a squared, 2ae underscore el squared. Because, or a squared, a underscore el squared, bidirectional harpoon arrow, b, in other words, another node, b, existence logic squared. Sentience is sentience and synchronization. That's why it's 2a squared. So in other words, two humans. This would be a human and a dog, or a human and a whale, or a human and another human. This is just to represent there's another node. So you got one node, you got two nodes. Consciousness is signal alignment with the tribe. Maybe I should just do this. A, K, A, consensus. Maybe I should change this to consensus increases tribe, individual and tribal safety. And then tribal independent safety for survival. I wanted to put that in there. Then we move up to the next hierarchy. The leaves, psychology, mind, the snowball. So we should copy this. Control V, Timothy Wilson. Leaves, psychology, mind, the snowball, and Timothy D. Wilson's iceberg analogy. The inner voice self story. The story you tell yourself about yourself. Whose voice tells that story to you? Your own voice, other voices, your parents, your spouses, the mean kids' voices at school, a priest, imams, a rabbi's voice, the manner in which the story is told to you, friend, frenemy, or enemy. The personal relative initial reference frame, opinion, worldview, religious, scientific, perspective, beliefs, thoughts, tribal and social pressures, biases, heuristics, stories, words, representations of things that exist for understanding, to facilitate, there's an S in there, facilitate understanding. I have to, this understanding is what I'd say understanding was. Okay, I gotta find what did I say understanding was? Understanding was There we go. Go all the way down here. I made notes down here. Nope, I didn't write it down. Oh, where did I write it down? Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. There. Why do you have, why are you backlit? Okay. Okay, why is it doing that? Yep. Now that I figured I was using the wrong button, I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. I can do that. Capitalize that. Close that out. Words, representation of things that exist to facilitate understanding. That's in the wrong font. Understanding only happens because of comparison. Comparisons of T equals 0 now information pattern recognition assessment moments. No. Understanding only happens because of comparisons. I don't like that wording at all. It's a sampling rate. I got to go back and check that. Anyway, words, representations of things that exist to facilitate sentience. Consciousness. And understanding. Understanding. is the comparison of existence hello and word that understanding is the comparison of the I'll work on it later. Back to what I was doing. Memories. Now moment. A memory is a now moment metabolic ionic work function reconstruction. Because memories happen right now, and they are determined by the chemical composition of this ecosystem and the brain structure. And every moment, they're different. So I just ate, so I have cortisol running through my system. I have nutrients running through my system. That nutrients is being deployed to different spots. Energy is being burned. Waste is being so every now moment, this ecosystem is different. It's never the same. Never ever is it the same. So my memories will be different because I just ate. I'm processing cortisol. I'm sitting in a safe environment. So the memories, whatever I quote unquote remember, is affected by the chemical composition, and then when they are encoded, they are affected by the chemical composition and brain structure. If I remember something and then I have a stroke, the brain structure is different. So when it's encoded, it'll be different. It'll be a different memory. So memories are now moment metabolic ionic work function reconstructions. Memories are now moment. I think that should be different. I think that should include now moment memories. Now moment ecosystem. Oh, I got to work on that. Stories, memories, art, dance, empathy, evolutionary mechanism for survival by facilitating, increasing, facilitating, and increasing, and increases, tribal cohesion, whatever that tribe may be. A partner is a tribe. A family is a larger tribe. And a tribe is a tribe. A community is a larger tribe. Feeling others' emotions by experiencing it in the self. Emotions. Interpretive stories put on an ecosystem's chemical composition and brain structure in the context of the now moment the ecosystem finds itself in. Sympathy. Prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex, that should have something. Process. No. Maybe. The prefrontal cortex, sympathy, the newest evolutionary mechanism for survival by bypassing tribal affiliations. In other words, you're not emotionally attached. Single partner, friend, colleague. That's college. I don't know how you spell colleague. maybe one colleague. That's spelled wrong. It's not college. How do you spell colleague? It's colleges with a two. Colleague. I guess colleges is with an A. Okay. Single partner, family, colleague. Friend, colleague, intimate partner. Or maybe I should say love interest. Family group. Parents and children. Aunts and uncles. Nieces and nephews. Cousins. Up to community. Up to 150 members. So empathy, evolutionary mechanism for survival, facilitating and increasing tribal cohesion. A tribe is a single partner, a friend, a colleague, an intimate partner, up to a family group, parents and children, aunts and uncles, nieces, nephews, and cousins. A community up to 150 members. It's feeling another's. It's feeling another's emotional state by experiencing it by. I wonder if mirroring. The experience by mirroring the experience in the self. Emotions. Interpretive stories put on an ecosystem's chemical composition and brain structure in the context of a now moment the ecosystem finds itself in. Sympathy. Prefrontal cortex. Processes. Newest evolutionary mechanism for survival, bypassing tribal affiliations. Understanding another's emotional state through understanding. Through understanding and through understanding, rationale, emotional regulation. Understanding what an emotion is. An interpretive story put on an ecosystem's chemical composition and brain structure in the context of the now moment the ecosystem finds itself in. I wonder if that's redundant. Emotional intelligence. I don't want that. I actually want to governing metabolic dopamine metabolic allocation dopamine. What was the word I used? Dopamine. Dopamine for survival. Understanding another's emotional state through understanding and emotional regulation. Understanding what an emotion is. Interpretive stories put on emotional intelligence. Allocation, metabolic, and metabolic allocating, metabolic regulation. Governing resource allocation. Metabolic. Block. Metabolic. Metabolic what? Governing metabolic resource allocation. Dopamine. Executive functions and emotional regulation for survival. Understanding another's emotions through understanding. That's double understanding. Understanding another's emotion. Through emotional regulation. Emotional intelligence. Regulation. Regulation. Emotions must exist in order for them to be regulated. Because scientists have been intellectually dishonest and are using the word emotion for emotional regulation when sympathy is the correct word. And that's the existence logic tree of the human condition. I have to invert it so it reads upwards. That'll make it more clear. Okay, anyway, that's that. That's now not a timestamp. Thanks for watching. Bye.